Have you seen the latest logo or caption of Amul India? It says, Roti, Kapda or Matdan, because we are in the election season. And let's try and get details of the India story from the man who is running Amul in India, the MD of Amul, and he has decided to give us time in Anand and at the headquarters of Amul. Sir, the first message and your thought, particularly in an election season.
Well, this is a good time to talk about India, where India is going to head for the next 5, 10, 20, 25 years. And this is where each of one of us takes a call on what we are going to do to make India bigger and better. So the first message is to each one of us, we should all vote with the families to see that we are a part of the great democratic process that India has.
And Mr. Mehta, we are standing at Dr. V. Korean Memorial, and also this is the Dairy Museum.
Yes.
So the legacy, is there a burden of legacy, or would you say that it gives you inspiration to ensure that this is a brand which remains the trusted and also the strongest food brand of India?
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, it's actually not the burden, it's the power of the legacy and the strength of the cooperative movement that Amul has become what it is today. You can imagine we started 77 years back, this very place, and from just 2 village cooperative societies and 250 liters of milk. Today, Amul is in 18,600 villages of Gujarat. 36 lakh farmer families are members of this cooperative movement. We're getting 310 lakh liters of milk every day, which is
310
lakh liters of milk every day. And there are 100 dairy plants like Amul, Anand across the country which is processing this milk, and the brand turnover is 80,000 crore rupees. So a $10 billion brand which has been created on the sheer power of the 36 lakh farmers coming to form a cooperative. So this is what is the India story. This is what is the story of women empowerment. This is the story of development. And the word you rightly mentioned, that the Amul's currency is not milk, it is trust.
Yes.
And this trust of 1 billion consumers, trust of millions of farmers, that's what keeps us going day in and day out.
And with every passing year, that trust is only strengthening. That trust is not going anywhere. Right now in India, we also have the cooperative minister.
Yes.
You know, Mr. Amit Shah is also the cooperative minister. What is the role of cooperatives in the India story in general?
So I think this is the great time for cooperatives because you got strong tailwinds for the sector. The power of this Amul model has been realized, and everyone in the government and the Ministry of Cooperation is the pivot and the fulcrum on which the new initiatives which support cooperatives across the country are happening. Amul, of course, is a player in all of these activities. I'll talk about the 3 new multi-state cooperatives which have been recently formed. The National Cooperative Exports Limited, National Cooperative Organics Limited, and the Bharatiya Beej Sahkari Limited. So what you are trying to say is Amul is successful today because we got access to the market of Bombay, and the farmers went on a strike in 1946. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel inspired them, and this led to Amul what it is today. So imagine now, through the efforts of this new Ministry of Cooperation, you are now giving an access to the market of all the products produced by every single cooperative in India through the multi-state cooperative on exports, which Amul is one of the promoters, the chief promoter in fact. So we are incubating a startup which did a turnover of 1,400 crores last year, order book of 15,000 crores, $2 billion, yes, and nobody knows about it. But this is what is the thought process of giving market access to the produce of the farmers globally. Similarly, farmers wanting to get into organics, consumer wanting to get into organic food without chemical fertilizer and pesticides, and this new multi-state doing this job, Amul also on its own doing this job. So many initiatives happening in place. India, like Amul, I talked about 18,600 villages. India has got 7 lakh villages. There are Amul type cooperative in 2 lakh villages. So the ministry has given us a task that of the balance 5 lakh villages, you open dairy cooperatives in 2 lakh villages in the next 5 to 10 years. So what happened in 50 years will now going to happen in next 5 years. So more milk will come in the cooperative sector, more women will get benefit of this particular initiative, and India, which is currently contributing to 24% of the total milk in the world, in next 10 years will contribute to 1/3 of the total milk in the world. So we have this great chance to become a dairy to the world. And milk today also is the largest agricultural crop of India. So India produces 230 million metric ton of milk, which is equivalent to 63 crore liters a day. At 10 lakh crore rupees, the value of output of milk is more than wheat, paddy, oil seeds put together. So this is a power of how a small thing which started in Anand in 1946, inspired by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, in whose memory the hall's name has been kept, to Dr. Korean and the team working day in and day out, has resulted to India getting this preeminent position, and cooperatives now getting a center space into all the development initiatives across all the villages of the country is amazing achievement.
Mr. Mehta, one thought that comes to my mind often is that would we have seen this Amul story had it been in any other state of India? Do you think it worked because it started in Gujarat?
The Gujarat, of course, we were blessed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Morarji Desai, the initial leaders, and Tribhuvandas Patel, who was the founder chairman of Amul Dairy here, to have worked hard to create what it is. But then the same model got replicated across India. So you have Saras in Rajasthan, which is doing so well. You have Nandini in Karnataka, which is doing well. Avin in Tamil Nadu, Milma in Kerala, Sudha in Bihar. So every single state has a dairy cooperative, and all of them, be it Warka in Punjab to the mother dairy in Delhi, each one of them are doing a great job in connecting their producers with the consumers and doing a lot of work. So together, actually, we have been able to dominate this space. And as India and farmers of India, it's a place of pride which cooperatives hold in our country.
Now, right now, India is being seen as this bright spot and almost like a sweet spot in the world economy. What do you think India's growth story is likely to be in the coming few years? Your own vision vis-a-vis Amul.
So I told about dairy. And India, if it becomes a dairy to the world, Amul has to be leading this. But we are not talking of just selling milk and milk products to the consumers around the world. Amul has a relevance of exporting this model also. So a farmer cooperative model can also make several countries in the developing world become self-sufficient in dairy and milk, which is a very important nutritional requirement, and more importantly, providing livelihood to their local people. So we are talking with the government of Sri Lanka and helping them become Atmanirbhar. We are talking to Kenya and also supporting them or working with them to build the dairy industry in there. So there are several developing...
Sri Lanka and Kenya.
Yeah.
Which are other countries?
So there are, this is a model for development which can work in every country of the global south. And that's where the Honorable Prime Minister talked about the South Initiative in his G20 leadership.
Yeah.
It is now being put in place.
That's Global South because you've spoken about it. Let's talk about it now. Particularly the role of milk revolutions and what role can India play in revolutionizing the entire, Global South, according to you?
So this is where it is. So it's the products which go to the markets, which take the products, and there's opportunity, and the model goes to all the developing countries, and where you need product like milk, which is giving not only nutrition to consumers but livelihood to the farmers. So this is what is a superb combination which is going to happen. And we won't believe, a few months back we had all the executive directors of World Bank coming to Anand. They saw this model, 16 of them who represent more than 100 countries, and then they realized that if India has to give a gift of development to the world, Amul is the model which it can give. So this is where we are working on. There are several countries we are talking to, and not just talking, putting things in place, in action, on the ground, with the required investments, without expecting a return in form of the money which comes out back, but more important, the results on the ground in that country.
And we have seen, there's a lot of emphasis on women, because I spoke to women of Amul just some time back.
Yes.
And I also met Gayatri Ben, who in many ways is the face of the cooperative in this entire region, sir. Women, the role of women in brand Amul.
No, of course, they are doing the fundamental work. So, the girl is, of course, the icon and identity, but coming back to it...
Will this girl ever grow up?
No, she has to be kept young as the country is young. But more importantly, it's the women who do the hard work. There are 3.6 million women who own this brand. And Amul is the world's largest farmer-owned cooperative, obviously powered by the women and empowering them. So you can imagine more than 18 lakh bank accounts of women, and out of the 200 crore rupees which every day Amul gives back to the farmers in their bank accounts, more than half go to the women bank account. There are 80,000 women who run the village dairy cooperative societies. There are more than 1/3 of the village cooperative societies which are fully run, operated and managed by women. So this is indeed a very, very great example. And it's interesting because Amul was made the institutional partner of W20 as a part of the G20 also, because this is what, it's not of development of women. Prime Minister sir told it's women-led development, and that's what this is model we wanted to showcase and highlight. So yes, obviously it's without women, nothing would have been possible.